I saw that.
You saw that. Zij weet die meis maken mensen confusing, man.
Daarom zeg ik, separate in dezelfde focus.
The Babbling Heads podcast.
Dus ja.
Away. Welcome to the Babbling Heads podcast. This is the base 187.
I'm Dj Fingaz.
JoeZone.
Charlie X2C.
Finally has a mic. He's no groot now.
This week we are joined by the illustrious Dante, the Dante.
What's good, Babbling Heads?
It's all good.
Alweer. Kijk, ik was bij een party last week. Serie Goose bij. Zit die enige gekeken met Boris. Benjamin Husa. Ze zei, kijk, ze hebben nog over dingen gekregen, voor Dante gekregen. Ik heb hem klaar georganiseerd nu waren. Het is al dan.
In the pipeline.
Is in the pipeline, ja, zo.
In the loop.
The Universe Alliance.
Ja, nee. Quite a popular rapper. A lot of people like him. So basically, let's start off with where you started and how your musical journey started and allerlei dingen.
Yeah, so I started in 2008 with music basically. But I was always introduced to hip hop from like a young age already, from a young kid. So my brother always used to play Dr. Dre and your DMX, rest in peace, you know. But I think when I first had access to recording music, that was in 2008. So my brother, he was dating this girl, and then he made like a song for on Valentine's Day. And then I was just like, yo, how did you do this? And then he showed me now like how he did this whole vibe. And then when he showed me that, I was on Audacity, the headphone, the call center mics.
We all started there.
Yeah.
I started there, recorded my first song, then I played it for some people in the area, whatever. They started liking it, and then from there, I've been grinding ever since. I've just been recording. It first started off just as a hobby, something that I was just very passionate about, and then like through like my high school career, whatever. Then I used to go like to Ready D, like the cypher sessions and stuff like that. Under a different name though. That time I was like the master, you know. That time it was the master. And after high school, I went into studying psychology. And then
Interesting.
yeah, then my name went from the master to Psychid. And that wasn't also a name. Both names wasn't given to me. I didn't give it myself. It was both given to me by other people. You see, so Psychid was because I studied psychology. The master was just homies that called me the master because like I used to be a valley energy with the girls. I'm like, we like the master.
Show me, master.
Master Splinters.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I just went with that.
Bader.
Psychology, no.
Just give the mic closer, man.
Psychology is definitely something that's very interesting. Like when I studied it, I was like, I always had that wow moment, like easy because you learn stuff about yourself and other people, man. But my passion wasn't there. So somehow, whenever I was doing psychology, I always felt like I should be doing something else. Okay. Like I would procrastinate. Like when I'm a study, I'll take my breaks and I will like maybe record a song. And then I would say, okay, I'm going to take like an hour to record a song. That will turn into 2 hours and it will turn into 3 hours. And then I was just like, eventually I decided. And luckily, look, I have a good support system. Thank you to my mom and my father that's been supporting me through. My father passed in 2017 though. But my mom always supported me right through. So when I told my mom, because she used to pay for student loans and shit like that. So when I told my mom, this is something that I don't want to do, because they knew I was always into music, man. Like from a young age, you know, people, like I used to record at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you know, the Tahanis, they're like, yeah, and it started like that, but I just didn't listen. And I just kept on doing it. So they just got used to it. So they sleep, rechtdier, all the stuff. And then one of the songs.
How was studying psychology? Hoeveel jaar je studied for?
It was a 4-year course, but I only did like two years.
So how has that changed your writing style?
I would say it changed my writing style a lot because it changed my whole perception of how I view people, you know, and there's different things that I now pay attention to when I not only observe other people, but I observe myself. You see, so like the thing with my recent song with Freud.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I checked your page now and I'm like, yo, is this Freud?
Yeah.
Because nobody knows like how deep that goes.
That's actually a bra. So that's also where I got that influence from, you know, so analyzing my own behavior, doing self-evaluation and everything like that. So that has definitely influenced, not only with that, but with vocab, because when I was studying psychology, there's like a whole lot of different words that a person learn in psychology. And with psychology, I didn't only do psychology. There was other modules, which was like English literature and things like that. So we used to like study plays and novels and then write essays of 1,500 to 3,000 words and stuff like that. So in a sense, it did like kind of just even help me more with my music. That's why I was so filled with that creative juices at that time that I would procrastinate just doing music all the time because I got inspiration from everywhere when I was studying. You see, so even more when I started studying psychology, I grew more within my music to a point where I felt like I have to just pursue it full time. So when I left psychology, my mom was very supportive. She was like, look, if it's not what makes you happy, don't do it because you don't want you to be in something and you're miserable for the rest of your life. And I was just like, okay, thank you, whatever. And then since then, I started working at call centers and things like that. And for a couple of years while doing music, doing gigs and shows and, you know, recording, releasing projects, mixtapes and singles and things like that. And then basically I signed to a label in 2016 called IMG, Immaculate Music Group. I'm still in communication with Gideon, the CEO of Immaculate Music Group, but that's where I met Boris, or now known as Binyamin. So that's how we met, basically. So through IMG, they used to do like a thing called Verse Day. So it was like every Thursday, there was like a verse that someone would spit. So I would start it up. I started off like the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then that also started blowing up. And then that's where we grew the likes of Boris at the time. And then he came to studio at Cape Audio, and that's where we met in studio for the first time. And then he did something on one of the beats that I did, and I knew who he was, but I didn't hear him in a long time. So he did something on the same beat, and I remember, I don't even know Lomax beats. Lomax is a producer.
Yeah, I know
as well.
Lomax.
Yeah, Lomax. So he was there as well. So we started off with me and Lomax and Gideon and Boris and Linux beats as well. And he was like, okay, let's see what this guy's gonna do on your beat. And he killed it. And he killed that beat heavy. He killed that beat heavy. And from there's always been like, because he was also signed to IMG, there's always been like a friendly competition that goes on between me and him, and that's very healthy. So I grew a lot with Boris. From that, we eventually went independent. We went on tour with the Outlaws.
He told us about that.
Yeah. So that's basically just my journey. So through Boris, and then we started working together all the years. Went on tour with the Outlaws. Backstage, one of the veterans there at the back, they were just like, they were sitting backstage and they were like listening to our set. And they were like, yo, they love our music and stuff, and they would like us to do something. And then the guy was like, he's doing this international remix and E40 is on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that with E40?
Yeah, that's all he had to say. E40, I'm like, what? And I called my nigga and I said, come over here and let's both jump on it. And he's like, okay, can you share a verse? I'm like, yeah, sure. Not long, when he sent that beat, it didn't even take long for us to hop on that immediately. So that was a very dope experience. That whole experience of touring and doing like long sets, like hour-long sets, 45, that prepared me a lot for a lot of other like small gigs and stuff like that. So it prepared me a lot because I have a lot of stamina to do like longer sets.
How long was the show though? So it's how long was the whole show?
Oh, the whole tour.
Yeah.
The whole tour. It was like when was it, like in 2018, it was like in December, it was like a 2 weeks or something like that. But we didn't go on every location. They went to like other locations. We just went to Johannesburg, and then in Cape Town, we came back to Cape Town.
Who sponsored the tour?
What was the name? I don't know I can't remember the name of it.
But it was sponsored by someone.
Sponsored by someone named Steven. That was the guy's name there. Yeah.
Somebody just, that's quite, if they could just bring people down, they could pump it again, like hopefully soon.
Yeah.
You told us about your name, the Master.
The Master.
And then your name is now Dante.
Dante.
It's quite a unique name, like.
Yeah.
Do you know the story about Dante? Dante's Inferno.
Yeah. Everybody tells me that. Everybody tells me about Dante's Inferno. That's the.
So where did you get your name from?
My name. Okay, so
we'll tell you about it now.
Yeah.
First, you tell us what your name.
Okay, so the name Dante, right? Like I said, through psychology, I started learning a lot of stuff. And I was spiritual. When I started studying psychology, I was actually a Bakir man. I was saved in everything, right? So And then the more you start studying psychology, if you get into a scientific mind, then there was a time that I was like atheist even for like a few months or whatever. And then God just shows you who he is without, not scripture, but through life. And then that's when I came back onto like believing in God. But I don't consider myself like religious, just more spiritual. So as an artist, I used to also always look for ways to unblock my creativity and do exercises like meditation and morning pages, which is something where you wake up every morning, you do like 3 pages of writing anything that comes to your mind, basically like free thought, anything. So if I wake up, I'm like, what am I doing today? Curtain, book, yeah, my mouth stink, I gotta brush my teeth, whatever. You know what I mean? You write 3 pages of that. You basically just unblocking lit, free flow, whatever, right? So when I started doing that, like my mind opened up like so much, like creatively. Like sometimes I would dream a whole song, and I wake up, then I will have a whole song prepared in my head, and then I have to wake up and write it down before I forget whatever melody or whatever, right? So at the time I was still called Psykid. And one of the spiritual dreams that I had is I was walking. It felt very real, man. The dream felt very real. So I knew like it was a spiritual thing for me to change my name. But I'm gonna tell you like what this dream, what indicated to me like, okay, change your name to Dante. Okay. So I was walking on like white crystal, like a white floor basically. Like, you know that scene in The Matrix where everything is white? And it's just like maybe like a door, like guns or whatever. But this was just like white all around, and there was like a door. And when I opened the door, it's a church, right? Purple curtains around or whatever. People are singing. There's a choir singing. And then they're singing Dante. They're singing that, Dante. But at the time, I'm thinking, who the hell is Dante? Why is people singing Dante? Then there's somebody that comes from like behind the curtain or whatever, but supposedly now like the pastor, but you can't see his face. He is all over his face, you can't see his face, and he's like kind of floating or whatever. I'm bare feet walking in this church down like the thing like, and it's like they're celebrating something, man. And I'm looking around and I'm thinking like, what the hell is that? Who's Dante? Why is this choir singing Dante or whatever? And the brother's like, today is a very special day or whatever, because today we're celebrating someone formerly known as Psykid. Today we give you Dante. And then the choir went, Dante, and then I woke up. And I was like, you know, weird. And I made a song called Dante after that, immediately with my own melody, something similar to what the dream had. So that's how I got the name Dante. So then when I made my name Dante, I changed my name, but people ask me, yo, where can I find you? I'm like, nah, search Dante. Then they search Dante, then they get 500 Dantes or a whole lot of other Dantes. I say, like, how can I separate myself from any other Dante that's out there? So I'm like, nah, I'm not that Dante or that Dante. I'm Dante the Dante. So that's basically how I got my name, Dante the Dante.
Must I actually try and do that, a video?
Dante the Dante.
Like a video of your dream.
Oh, it sounds interesting. So the Dante's Inferno that I know, like the anime, do you know the same one?
No, actually, no. I know isn't it a work of, not just Dante's Inferno, I know it goes deeper than the anime.
I think it's a story or something like a myth or something like that. So anyway, the one that I know, and it goes a little something, I stand to be corrected. This guy's wife goes like down into hell somehow. Yeah. She dies and she goes like, or they suck her, or this demon suck her into. But hell doesn't have like one state. There's like five levels or five or 7 levels about now.
I watched it.
Have you seen this?
Yeah.
There's 5 or 7 levels of hell, and obviously the worse you are, like the lower you must go. But he must like go to like the lowest level to save her.
Ik heb nog heel veel gehoord van in de mensen. Jim, Terry, Daibra. Nou moet ik het nog vandaag ook nog weer horen.
I just know the story of Dante Inferno.
Devil May Cry. I don't know if you play. Yeah, Devil May Cry. Dante's Inferno is in there. Then it's like a Nephilim, which is like half angel and half demon or whatever. So I used to play that game also a lot. But that has no influence over the name Dante. That has no influence. People go, they will quiet. They will Dante is for the game.
No, sometimes you putting it out there, it almost like it has like a, I don't know, like a meaning that someday, maybe one day you must go save your girl, or maybe you're looking for your girl and you must go save her, or something, or maybe not that. I don't know. There's some repetitivism, some repeated
Yeah, no, the actual thing is like just researching it now. I'm seeing that Jamie over there is a beetje gefrek. Dante, at least Dante's Inferno.
Dante's Inferno.
Reference to
Rogan.
Rogan, whatever. It's a 14th century poem.
You see,
by Italian writer.
Something like that.
That's the epic poem is called Divine Comedy. So like this story goes way back, 14th century, bro.
you see, it's a story. There's some mystical vibes to it. Like, you must check it out.
Yeah.
You know what I've been thinking now the whole time. It's like I thought that only happens to me, man. When you dream about a song and then you have to write it down early in the morning.
You have to write it down.
Because like you can dream about a full song, bro. Concept, everything, hook, every verse, breakdown or pre-chorus, alles is in your mind. And then as you opstaan, you're like, okay, I need to write this down, otherwise I'm going to forget this, bro.
Yeah.
And the concept is so mind-blowing. That's super unbelievable.
If you open yourself up to receiving that kind of creativity, then you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. So like I said, I was always hungry. I'm hungry to be better, man. To be better as an artist. So that's why when me and Boris met each other, it was just a natural competitive nature between us because he's dope. So then if me and him is on a song together, we always want to out-rap one another on a song. So
you guys have like a similar type of sound, like or similar type of vibe about you. Like, is that on purpose, or did you just sort of because you're hanging out with each other, the texture of your voices almost like the same?
It's definitely not on purpose. It's just because we probably hang around each other a lot. We do music together a lot. We listen to similar music and stuff like that. He grew up mainly with jazz and things like that. That was his upbringing, and then went into hip hop. For me, it was always just West Coast hip hop, and then later in life, I would say like Tupac, I started listening to only later in life. Like I was always a Biggie, B.I.G. fan, like from a young age. That was the first rapper that I consciously, like, you know, when you're a kid, subliminally, you know, there's stuff like subconsciously, there's music that you get introduced to. But the first artist that like I can remember like consciously being like, yo, this guy is dope, let me go and look more of his music or whatever, was B.I.G. Just because of his flow and it's like, you know, syllable rhyming and just the way smoothness about it, about the way he raps. And then only later in life when I started now, like after psychology, like I said, my whole perception changed. I'm like a more abstract person also in a way where I seek for something deeper than just the surface or what it is or whatever. And with Tupac's music, it's a lot of those stuff. Sometimes he's saying stuff directly, but, you know, it's poetic in a way where you know, and so after later in life, then I started only getting into Tupac. Then I started and since a young kid, my dad always used to play Nat King Cole, so that's a jazz. So then I started getting into jazz. Then so I hang out with Boris, and then I started also getting into like jazz and R&B and soul, and he introduced me to people like Ella Fitzgerald and you know, Louis Armstrong I always knew, but only when I met Benjamin, then I got more into also tapping into the jazz, tapping into music other than rap. So like most of the time when I'm not even just recording music or creating music, I'm not listening to rap music. I'm listening to other stuff like Earth, Wind and Fire or like Al Green or something like that. Like I listen to other music to get inspiration and then find out how I can incorporate that into what I'm doing, you know. So yeah, that's basically. So it's not intentional. To answer your question, it's not intentional. It's just that we brothers, man. We consider ourselves brothers because we've been working for so many years together now.
I think it's because like I'm discovering now, I think you're both on a spiritual journey as well, man. Like you said, you were saved. I think that also maybe the kinship.
Yeah,
like
that
hidden myth type of vibe.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of stuff that are similar and that makes us like connect better. Yeah. And yeah, we have a lot of deep conversations. Like, you know, me and him in the pub is what we call the studio there by me. We had many all-nighters, and he sleeps over there. Well, we don't really sleep much, but we had many nights there. So, like, naturally, you're going to grow closer to each other, develop a brotherhood. And, yeah, we have a lot of deep conversations, man. and a lot of FIFA games.
There's another artist now coming up, or not coming up, he's been on the while, Anderson Park, like, and he also mixed like almost like this jazzy type of vibe with like the hip hop. I enjoy his music, and sometimes there's something that reminds me about you, you know what I mean? It's
Anderson Park.
It just clicks somehow, anyway.
Have you done any other collaborations now? Because you and Boris are pretty tight, you and Benjamin.
Yeah.
But have you like ventured into experimenting with different sounds, having like collabing with somebody else? Other than him?
Yes. There's a lot of, I've worked with Lance Lightyear before. Don't know if you, Lance Lightyear. Judas, he was here.
Yes.
We have some stuff that is unreleased, you know, and we're planning on working, doing some more stuff.
Nice.
Me and Melky, I don't even know Melky.
Yeah, he was supposed to be on a couple of weeks back, but yeah, he will be on soon.
Yeah, so me and him, we also worked. There's quite a few, and obviously, you know, the rest of the tribe. So that is me, J-Dubs, and Carter.
Yeah.
Carter. So we were basically like a group. We're still a group, but we haven't like done much work. We have stuff that's unreleased. So that's me, Benjamin, Carter, and J-Dubs.
Yeah, Tribe. Isn't it a group Tribe?
Tribe, yeah.
Yeah, weren't you guys originally signed with Revolution? With Celeste?
No, Revolution, that came after.
Okay.
That came afterwards. Celeste used to manage us as Tribe, but everybody just went into their own individualistic ways. But yeah, but we're planning a reunion. I would love us all to just have another reunion again and just get together and have again another one of those. Because we also had like all-nighters all the time at the pub with the Tribe. And then all of us is just in there, and the energy is just insane.
That'll be dope because it's both all like sharpened their swords and like nice.
Like competitive nature. Like I said, everybody wants to out-rap the other person on the song, you know. But we're so versatile that like with thanks to Benjamin, like working with him got me into experimenting with not only rap, but with, like I said, with soulful singing and stuff like that. Like I never even knew that I could like sing or whatever, you know. But there's a lot of melodic stuff that I'm doing now. A lot of people will be surprised with my upcoming album. Like everybody, when they hear Dante, everybody thinks is that nigga that like shouts and stuff like Dante. Everybody think I'm that guy. But like with Freud is an example, it's a chilled vibe. It's more I'm talking to you actually instead of like shouting at you and giving you that heavy energy. Because I think a lot of people, that's what it was like. People used to put me in that kind of box. The guy that always shouts and that always just hype. Because when I perform, I have that energy. Yeah. But there's a lot of new stuff. Like I said, I've been listening to a lot of jazz and neo soul and stuff. So there's a lot of singy vibes, but obviously rap, hip hop is the center of it. So,
like with Freud itself, I just watched a couple of snippets of the actual visuals. Then you take on, you revert back to your role as a psychologist because you start like with come sit on the couch.
Psychoanalysis like Sigmund Freud. Yeah, that was a when I made that song, I don't know if it was earlier this year or if it was last year, but I've recorded a lot of music for this project. Like it's so hard to decide like what I'm gonna put on here, like because and the reason I took my time with this specific project is because like for years that I've been releasing music, okay, like I've gained like a following and they say progress is better than no progress, right? Yeah. But you have to like find ways to try and just do better than what you did before. So sometimes I feel like I do release a lot of good quality music, but sometimes it lands on deaf ears or like not deaf ears, but like people don't appreciate it for what it really is as much. So then you start thinking to yourself, how can I get this to reach the people that I wanted to reach and like expand the reach basically. So that's why I've been taking so long with this project, even though I could have released the project within the first 3 months of when I started writing it and recording it or whatever, right? Yeah. But I've been thinking of ways to strategically release this project. Yeah. So that's why I'm releasing the videos and singles to build up maybe like hype for it and things like that. Maybe saving a budget, you know, for like promotion and things like that, advertising and things like that. So it's things that I used to do before with like promotion and stuff, but I never used to do it strategically. Yeah. So that's why I want to do this. I want to drop this project differently to what I did all my other music so that it can so it can be heard the way that I want it. Can be received the way I want it to be
If you
received.
want any help with that, if the Babbling Heads can help in any way, let me know too.
Nah, definitely I appreciate
Who
that.
did the visuals on that track?
On which track? Freud.
Oh.
Matthew Mack. It's a friend of mine, brother of mine as well, friend of mine. Basically, I knew him for a few years now, so he did the visuals, but I edited the footage. Everything is green screen on that, so I wasn't actually sitting on that couch. I was sitting on a couch, but not that couch, and like everything was green screen. So I invested in a green screen, and then I just told him, yo, I have this idea. I directed everything because I had the idea like already before the time. All he did was just shoot the video. And then, he shot Matthew Mack. That's him. He shoots all my videos, moving now forward. And then I just edited that. I edited Freud and the last 2 videos that I released. I edited those videos as well. Yeah.
You spoke also, before we record the podcast, you spoke about having like a home studio, and now you're talking about almost like shooting the stuff yourself. It's awesome how you do things on a shoestring budget, you know what I mean? Like, when I started doing podcasts and I said like no, I just had a mic and something small and I tried to get it going. But you guys, you've achieved a lot more in a short time with like I say, like a shoestring budget. That's it's awesome the way you did that, man.
Thank
and
you.
obviously you have Parasa that help and people that help in the industry is dope. Like.
No, it's definitely God sent us. Like I said, I'm a very spiritual person, so I believe that people come into my life for a reason. And like I've been praying about it, I've been asking about it, like this year, saying that I have certain goals that I want to achieve. Let the right people come into my life, and like I've been basically let me tell you the name of my upcoming album, right? So it's called No More Allies. Okay. So previously I was always known as the relationship guy because I always used to be in a relationship. Okay. So now my ex, her name was Ellie. So that's the play of the thing, No More Allies, because I'm no longer with them. Right. So that's where I met my videographer currently through a brother's friend, and then I became friends with him as well, Matthew Mack.
Yeah.
So even though when me and her broke up, me and him still stayed friends, and we still started hanging out more and all those stuff. So it's like God sent that, that relationship, even though we're not together anymore, but it had to happen for a reason. You see, because now I have a videographer that I'm going to after this immediately to also shoot some stuff. But I have him like whenever I want to. Like I can just be like, yo, bro, let's shoot on this day. I have that freedom that I didn't have before, where I had to go look for people. Okay, you have to work according to obviously I still have to work according to his schedule as well, but I just have a lot more freedom now with it, with creative directing, with editing, with other people, where I used to shoot videos with them, then I used to shoot the video, they never used to get my vision exactly like I wanted it, and they used to edit it, and then I'm a very not a control freak, but I'm a perfectionist kind of in a way. Like I want things to, like I said, I wanted to be received the way I wanted it to be received, And so that's why it's a blessing. Everyone, Boris coming into my life, that was definitely a blessing. All the people, and I have a very small circle. It's not much people that I hang around with. But now that I'm single and stuff, like I'm able to go out more. So it's just like I'm able to go out. I'm able to go to events and network and meet people. I just feel like that's the reason that I'm single now, is because I feel like the relationship was holding me back from a lot of things that I can do now that I'm single. Like when I go out to an event, I always have to think, okay, how much now? I have a worry, how much now?
As het misschien ook omdat zij volledig master moet terugkomen of wat?
The master, definitely not that. The master came back temporarily though. That's why Freud is there, because I had to check myself. I had to check myself to tell myself that I'm not that person anymore. Yeah. Because the stuff that I'm speaking about in Freud is like stuff that the master used to do, But my main reason was, like with meditation, right? Meditation and all that stuff. Like I believe meditation gives you a clarity. It allows you to make better decisions in life, And through lockdown, when lockdown happened, me and my girlfriend were still together. Just the beginning of lockdown. But I was meditating, right? And everyone can say when lockdown happened, it allowed everyone to do introspection.
Yeah.
Look with it, because you were forced to sit with your own thoughts. You're forced to sit with your own thoughts and your own life. So, like I said, with self-evaluation, psychoanalysis, like Sigmund Freud, I've been meditating and I've been evaluating my life, man. And I'm thinking now, like, okay, this is my goal. These are the people that's in my life. Are there any people that's like hindering me or slowing me down from getting to that goal, man? And do I see myself as the situation improving? And there was like a lot of drama with like other family, like in our family, like my ex's family, and judgments and stuff like that. And then because I'm an artist, the dad was a pastor and everything, so the man many dreadlocks and is a rapper, and so they judge. So naturally, and in the beginning, I was smitten. I was very smitten about this girl. You know? So I used to do anything and everything to want to be with her, impress the parents and everything. So for 3.5 years, there was a side of me that was living this double life.
Yeah.
You know, this double life, and I was restricted to the music that I can create. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't create music for everyone. I could just create music for relationships and pastor means people that is like, you know.
I think personally I think even with my music, I don't care what you think, what type of music I make.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's my music that's going to be paying our bills.
Exactly.
Do you understand? And if you're not there as a support system, then you shouldn't be with me.
Right on there,
Now
brother.
that is 100% correct, and that is something that I'm striving. Like I don't like being single. Like I like being, I like the freedom and the stuff that I'm able to do. But if I find somebody meaningful, like you said with your girlfriend, you're able to do that, you know. And like the way I explain it to her is like, look, say for example, if Truworths or Woolworths, if they only sold pants for like, you know, kids or whatever for this age or whatever, like blocking out the whole market of other stuff, of selling groceries and sweaters and tops and jerseys and all that stuff. So that's with my subject matter, the concepts that I talk about. In that relationship, I felt like I was limited to only speaking about certain things, and I had to kind of like watch what I say, because okay, no, the pastor's gonna hear, the whole family's gonna hear, and that pressure, like it started just building up, and I was just like, no, if I want to reach the level that I want to, I'm going to have to let this go.
Also, you weren't being true to yourself.
I wasn't being true to myself, so.
So you put a lot of yourself in your music, right? Obviously.
Yes.
Is there a part that you keep to yourself, that you feel, okay, this I'm not sharing?
No, I don't like this. Everything that I've been through, like bad things, like with my father, when my father died, there's stuff that I wrote about that. There's things that like insecurities that I feel like. That's why I don't like go after certain girls now, because like certain girls, I feel like maybe they like traveling and they're doing what they want to do in their life, and they like feel like they made it yet. But my ego won't allow me to be broken in a relationship. You know what I mean? My ego. So I speak about that on upcoming music as well. So I don't think there's anything that I hold back, because if I can't be open and free with my music, it's like therapy. Because if you go into therapy with someone, you're gonna have to be completely open. You're gonna have to be completely open. So that's what music is for me. So there's nothing that I've been hiding in my music or things like that. Besides it's not being released. When it's released, you're gonna hear the full on.
And I also think that maybe when you write, man, like I'm totally myself when I also write, man, because kijk, you can't, today's generation want to feel what's real, man. And if you like back in the day, can say pretend that he's a gangster.
Yeah.
Now you can't do that anymore, because you might just get shot at the next event. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be real, man, bro. And that's what people want nowadays. And if you're not real and they see you fake, dan gaat your career net so weg. Gone.
Yeah. Also, energy is transferable, and music is very powerful. So, like, even on stage or through music, people can feel when something is not authentic, man. Like, there's, like, some people, they might not know what it is, but they might feel like something is not right here. So, I'm like that. If I listen to someone's music, I can feel when it's coming from a real place. I can feel like, you know, the energy. So energy is transferable through music, through a video. Like I can watch. Have you ever thought like when you watch interviews or podcasts of other people, then you feel like you're there and you connect. Like when I watched your podcast with Benjamin, like I felt like I was there. I was connecting to everything he was saying, everything you guys were all saying, because energy is transferable just like that, because that was authentic. So I feel like that with my music also. Like I know if I listen back to my music many times, to a lot of the time. So if I listen to it and I don't feel like, if I don't feel something, if I don't feel something, then I just do it over, or I just scratch it completely, and I'll say, look, let me come back another day when I'm feeling that way. You say, I want to rush something. I want to rush something to just get it done for that day. Or sometimes I will, but then I listen back and then I'm like, nah.
Don't sound like a...
Don't sound like
often as artists or creatives, we tend to be over analytical and procrastinating a lot. When do you get to the point where you say, look here, I have to let go of this project, because we can sit and nitpick, and like if you're drawing whatever, you constantly is never done. And the same thing like with you, I'm sure like the work of art, your writing or your music is never quite done. It's like, but at what point do you say, look here, okay, wait, this is good enough? Where do you draw the line?
When it makes sense to me, when it makes sense, when that like I said, I'm spiritual also, so when it hits my spirit, when it tells me this is the time to do it, you know, once everything else is ready. Because for me, like, I'm in creative mode, so like I'm always writing. So even like this, almost like you said, there's never a time that I'm like, okay, this is the project that I'm going to release now. But I think when I'm done with that specific topic, like I have already an idea of what I want to put out and the concept. Once I feel like that concept has been achieved with the songs, because sometimes I move on to other concepts. That's how creative I am. So then I move on to other concepts and other things. When I notice that it may be 3 or 4 or 5 songs that's now totally disconnected from this project or whatever, then I know, okay, no, this is now for something completely different. So once everything conceptually makes sense, and once I feel like that ink has been dried out for that specific concept, and then I only first sit and saying like, okay, this is the body of work that I'm going to release. Once I have that, that's only the first step. The other thing is the timing. When do I release it and everything? And with that, like I said, I have to be strategic with everything and not just drop it without thinking, and then it goes there and nobody, like very little people hear it. So yeah, so for me at first it have to make sense. The whole project have to make sense. It has to make sense conceptually to me. It has to flow sonically together perfectly. And then some, like for me, I don't only listen to music myself. Like I do listen to it a lot, but sometimes I'll maybe get another person's opinion. So then like someone that I trust, their opinion, like Benjamin, so I'll maybe send him some stuff and I'll play some people my music or whatever, and I'll be like what they think of it, just to get their idea.
Sounding boards,
At the end of the day, it's my decision, and I'm still going to go with what I feel is the thing, but sometimes it's also good to just get other people's opinions, you know, people that you trust. So then that's when I will know, okay, no, they just now reinforced my idea that this is done, basically, you know. So,
like I was thinking about what you said earlier on, where you said like about music, man. Okay, we have been talking about music the whole time, but just think about this, man. What is the genre that sells the most on this planet? Just think about it.
Pop. Hip-hop.
No, is the biggest right now.
Like concepts, man. Not genre-wise, but concepts, man. There's a relatable concepts like, you know, heartbreak songs and but as between those two, heartbreak and love songs, I was coming to the point where you said like if you don't feel it, energy is transferable. So the reason why that two is the most biggest, like danges man, in concept-wise, man, or subject matter, is because people can feel, man. People can, ik was regtig lief vir hy goes, wat doen sy aan my? Of like you in love, you got someone new in your life, and it's like because it's a relatable content, man.
True.
And that's what people want. If you think about it, you can't just put about, and that's why youngsters soek so groot in die Kaap, because he took the ghetto and he put it in songs. But not the bad part about the ghetto. You mean the good vibes of the ghetto, and he puts it in songs. And that's why a lot of people on the Cape Flats can relate to that. It's because, but some are, okay,
but it's true what you say. Like definitely, when you make music based on how you feel, on like breakups and things that experiences, as long as there's people on earth, people are going to be experiencing things. So if you do a song based on like experiences or feelings and things like that, there's always going to be someone that's going to relate to it. That's why those songs sell the most, because it has longevity as well, you know, because like I said, as long as there's people on this earth that's experiencing things and feeling things, they're always going to go back to that song that made them feel a type of way. So that's why the song sells so much, because it gets replay value. They're like, okay, can I go back to that song because it feels a type of way. That's why it maybe might sell more, in my opinion, to songs that don't have like a specific, you know, topic that relates to feeling or something that someone experienced or anything like that, you know?
Something, but off the topic, but also pertaining to your studies in psychology. There's often a link between creativity and madness. It's like, is it because, has there been any studies done to show like, are creators' brains wired differently because the way that you're able to recall your dreams so lucidly, and being able to, a lot of us when we wake up, it's like, wow, it's gone. Or we'll daydream or whatever. And that's how I get most of my creativity, is I daydream a lot. So like I'll go off on a tangent and then just hear something will pop in, then I'll do it. But when I sleep, my sleep state is usually just porn.
Definitely. Like I say, with regards to that, right? With creativity, there comes a thing where you have to open yourself up to like that creativity, and with crazy people, it's like kind of like the way you look at it is like kind of uncontrolled or a thing like that. So the thing is, where you kind of block your creativity sometimes is when you try to control everything, be structured, anything, and society does that to us. You know, we try to be conditioned, conditioned in a certain way. So that's why I think, like you say, crazy people like it's the most creative, is because they open themselves up to just be free, the inner child.
There's a saying that says a truly creative man allows the door to total chaos to leave the door ajar. To leave it a little bit open.
But I agree with you, Shaq, where you said like when you daydream is when you come up with the most creative stuff. Because I feel like when I write and I force myself to write and I can't write, but loop ik gewoon niet winkel toe en ik dacht erom, man, hij baas al nog op, fuck, wie zei hij? Like, then I come with bars up. Like, ik kan niet loopen voor mij twee bieren gaat kopen en dat me niet zak. En dan is de bieren is waar je moet. Dan loop ik en dan kom ik op mijn like a verse, niet zo in mijn koppen. En dan kom ik bij de huis en schrijf ik het niet en ze mijn baas klaar. You see, so it is
there's this book that I read, right? Actually, like I was watching this interview of J. Cole, and it's an old interview, and they were asking him about writer's block and things like that. And he was saying this book by Julia Cameron. It's called The Artist Way. And this is the thing where I told you about, like the morning pages where you write all the thoughts, and there's two parts to it. So it's the morning pages, and then there's the artist date. So the artist date is like when you basically set up a date for yourself to just do anything, like maybe go to the movies, go to the beach, just yourself. And basically what that allows is what you just said, like when you walk into the shop or whatever, you're not trying to do anything, you're not trying to write anything down, you're just going do your normal day-to-day stuff. So that artist date is like it's a date for yourself, for your inner child, for your inner creativity to be fed, basically, you know. So I suggest everyone that wants to be creative, like take that time out for yourself.
You mentioned J. Cole now. Who's your favorite inspiration
currently?
South African and abroad.
I would say between J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, those two. Recently I've been listening to Drake a lot, you know, because like I said, I've been now with after a breakup, you know. After a breakup, we listen to Drake, you know. After a breakup, I don't go to Kendrick Lamar or things like that, you know. But yeah, so I've been listening to Drake a lot. Locally, in South Africa, I mean, Benjamin, man, that man inspires me.
Outside of your tribe.
Outside of the tribe. Let me think. Well, I'm loving even though me and X2C, we don't have this like same like type of music or whatever, but I love what he's doing for like South Africa. Like he's pushing it to another level where he's like he went on Sway and all that stuff. So that's an inspiration because that shows me that I mean he's a guy from South Africa. I'm a guy from South Africa. So he kicked the doors open basically for artists like myself, you know. So I would say that's also his inspiration.
I think
well.
he's gonna be on an album with Jay-Z, no?
Is it?
Apparently, yeah.
But he got a song with a few American artists, doesn't he? Nasty C.
Yes,
Yeah,
a feature with French Montana.
French Montana, and there's another one, man.
Yeah.
You signed to Def Jam, no? Is it
Def Jam,
or
yeah.
Def Jam,
Def
South
Jam.
Africa.
Yeah, so that is a big inspiration for me. You know, it motivates me. You know, saying that anything can happen because there was a time that people just thought, no, that you have to go to America or
You have to rah,
whatever, you know. But like that just shows that you can make it. You know, he's from South Africa. You know, even like unrelated to music. Look what Trevor Noah is doing. You know.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, check here. We spoke about like the relationship and creativity and trying to achieve certain goals. Like, and I mean, listen to what you're saying. Like, you were with somebody in a relationship or the partner that was sort of not allowing you to achieve these goals. And I just thought about my own situation and I think like
Careful now, jy moet nog huis toe gaan.
yeah, I'm gonna do it, man. I think like if you establish in the beginning of a relationship now, like your goals, like what you really want. Like I got like 1 million hobbies, bruh. If I tell you all my hobbies, you won't really believe it. Like enlist them, like but I think I established in the beginning of my relationship, like hey, I want to go for something, man. Like and I'm a go-getter, I want to achieve this and then that sort of helped me like try to establish that going for that thing like and then
That understanding was also there.
yeah, and then within that I find my creativity. Like if you have that freedom to push for greatness,
Yeah.
you find that creativity.
You
like,
have that freedom, yes.
yeah, and then you almost like it gets stimulated. Like it's interesting and within that freedom, like another thing is like with comedy now, you must like experience life. Like I do stand-up comedy, so it's one of my many hobbies. You must experience life, like you must experience like with me. I manifest my creativity by talking about my kids and the situation that I find myself in, and I even talk about my sex life or so. I talk about all these things, but
Everyone can relate to
yeah, it's sport that people can relate to, and I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it on my canvas, and that's my way of creating my art. Like, so yeah, I think it's also important to be with somebody, a partner that allows you to be.
That allows you to do this stuff.
To find that creativity.
Look, with my previous relationship now, there wasn't like, it wasn't her in particular. It was just the whole situation that came with it. She was young, fairly young. The influence that her parents had on her life came with it. Everything came with it, man. It wasn't like me and her, we had like kind of an understanding. And obviously like there's stuff that could have been worked on. Like there's stuff that could have been worked on like through speaking and like, okay, like you have to understand this. When I'm saying a song about this, don't feel offended. When I'm in a music video and there's maybe another girl or whatever, don't feel away. It's just like,
your art,
basically. It's just my art and it's my work basically. Like for example, even like an actor, like there's actors that's married, but they in the movie, but their partner don't get mad because I understand that's also.
There might be a slither of truth in the music video, in the message, but it doesn't necessarily be you acting out.
Yes, exactly. That's so.
Fantastic.
So like I said, it wasn't her in particular because that's stuff that we could have like worked on. Like she could maybe like eventually like understand that, but I think it's just everything that came with it, like I said, the family and everything like that, and she wasn't willing to fold or or to stand up at least to be like, yo, this is my nigga and whatever. It was. She was fairly young also, so living under your parents' roof, and they were very overprotective in a way, man. Overprotective also, they didn't trust the nigga with dreadlocks. They didn't trust the nigga with dreadlocks. And a nigga that was rapping.
You need to have that creativity, bro. You need to have that. If your expression of yourself is dreadlocks, then you need to have it. And if you don't establish that in the beginning, then There's nothing there, bruh.
Non-conformist.
And that was my mistake.
You going nowhere, like.
That was my mistake in the beginning because, like I said, I was just so smitten over this guy. I was like, yeah, she's already whatever. That I sacrificed.
Just try to assimilate.
Yeah, basically. Because, okay, now I knew, okay, daddy them, they don't like me. Okay, now I have to get in the books by the daddy to make them like me. And then that turned out like for 3.5 years, I've been like hiding a piece of myself, you know? And like, I'm just like me now. I lost myself in that relationship, I would say. Like, I lost my true essence of who I am.
So
and
you're still finding yourself now.
So now I'm getting back to loving myself and finding myself again. You see, because I loved her more than I loved myself.
Oh, yeah.
In that relationship.
I see.
I loved her more
Because
than
you
I
were
loved myself.
hiding yourself.
I was hiding myself, yeah.
You obviously loved her more, yeah.
Yes, I loved her more than I loved
Putting
myself.
her before yourself because you were like not being.
Yes, and music is me. It's part of me. So that's why, in that sense, me loving her more, because she cares a lot about her family. She cares a lot about what the family thinks. And that was one of the things. Obviously, like, I don't fault her for that. Obviously, it's your family. You love your family and you care about what your family thinks. But there comes a point in time when you have to live your own life. You know what I mean? You have to make your own decisions. But because I loved her that much, I was willing to sacrifice a piece of myself by, like, there was times that I didn't even rap, like for like 2-3 months that I didn't even do music. And then some of her family were just asking me, do music? And I was just like, nah, not doing music now anymore. It was just not me, man. That was like the longest that I've ever been without like recording or writing or doing anything music. It was like 2 months of just like.
So this album coming up is you getting over that hill?
Yeah. For this album is basically, so I broke up with her, right? And we didn't argue. There was no argument that happened. Like usually, like a breakup, usually there's an argument, and then you're like, no, I'm fed up, and no. It was like a normal day. So for her, it was like very like hectic because like imagine just waking up, you think everything is fine, there's no argument, anything, boom, here the bomb hits, you know. Then I obviously went to go see her and everything, but now this album that's done basically, but I'm also still busy doing finishing touches on it. It's basically the aftermath of the aftermath because like she moved on, she got a rebound immediately afterwards. No? So
you see, there's actually a bit more to this album.
Yes, there's
as
more
you
to the
unpacking this whole situation.
The music. Yeah, I'm unpacking the whole situation because she moved on, and then but I know that the reason that she moved on, you know, the reason was just to try to forget about me because, you know, we were 3.5 years together and I broke up with her. So it's kind of a pride thing also. Like, hey, I can do without you. Look, I can replace you that quick. Oh, there's a rebound, another nigga. Then she broke up with that nigga and got into another relationship with another guy. And I make also, there's a song that's called With Him. There's a song that's called With Him. And it's out already. There's a video out as well. Yeah, With Him.
Okay.
And I talk about it there. I say a lot of stuff there. I got
Can we play it?
You can play it, yeah.
Play the snippet of a day with him.
I need to. We're first gonna watch the first video and then
after that we can.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that song basically is about when we first had each other blocked. Because that's when I first saw her with the rebound niggas. And I was like, nah, this is not good for
how
my
long
health.
after the, sorry man, how long after you breaking up did she get with another bra, if I may ask?
When I noticed it was like a month or like...
a month?
Under a month or something like that.
My baby mama broke up with me. We were in like 2 days later she had other work.
Yeah.
Usually
I don't know when she got with this guy. But when I noticed it, because I blocked her at first, and then we said, look, we want things to be cordial or whatever. Let's unblock each other. We don't have to block each other. I'm like, okay, that was a mistake. And I saw this story and with this new nigga. I'm like, who's this nigga? Who's this new nigga all of a sudden? And
if she put on a story, she put it there for you to see.
I know. She put it there for me to see. So that
You know
happened.
she's gonna watch this episode.
It's fun.
I'm opening my music already, so I might as well. You know, I might as well. It's not like I'm putting anyone's business. It's my business. I'm allowed to. It's my business.
I think as an artist, you got the right to do it. Like
So she moved on, and then I saw it. But the thing is, what helped me heal because I broke up with her, and it doesn't mean that I didn't love her still when I broke. I made a decision for myself. It's not like I stopped loving her or I stopped caring about her. Like, I still loved her. I still care about her up until till this day. I still care a lot about her.
You just did it for your own mental health. Man.
Yes, I did it for my own and my career and my goals. The goals. I analyzed myself. I said, look, this is the goals that I have. How am I going to get there? I don't see myself getting there if I continue doing the same stuff that I've been doing, having these 2 months times when gaps when I'm not recording music.
Also the death of self.
Yeah,
in that,
I was dying. Basically, myself was dying, and I had to find myself and I had to rebuild. So what helped me through that aftermath of when I broke up with her, I threw myself into music, and I was busy every day, and I was recording every day, and I was writing every day. So me doing that allowed me kind of a bit to not forget, but cope with the heartbreak of what I felt until one Saturday. I was, you usually see your girl every weekend or even through the week or whatever, and you will have your vibe. And then one Saturday, I just decided not to do anything, and then, poof, there it is. I thought I moved on from it. Like I thought I moved on from it. Poof, there it is. Yo, I miss her. Yo, okay, now she's with this other guy, and then, yeah, one of those days when I wasn't recording music, then I saw another story. It's a different guy, and this guy was her cousin's ex.
Shit.
It was a bit shit, her cousin's ex. So I saw that, and that broke my heart. So that literally like broke my heart. And I say it in the song, because with him I say there, like it broke my heart. So that immediately when I saw that, poof, blocked her, because I think it's not good for my health to see all this stuff together. Like I just think I moved on. Poof, then I see something like that. Poof, then I feel like I'm back to square one again missing her, whatever. So then that moment when I saw that, blocked her. That night, it was like 2 a.m. I wrote that whole song that like within 20 minutes or whatever. The next morning, I recorded the song, mixed and mastered it that whole day. And then I felt better after that. After that song, when I got everything out, then I somehow felt better. Then I wasn't feeling hurt or anything like that. But yeah, for me, that was like more of a confirmation that we're never gonna be back. We're never gonna be together again. Yeah. Because even though when we broke up, there was always still that kind of like a hope, like, yo, maybe in future when things change, maybe maybe you moved out of your house, maybe you're not that controlled by your parents anymore, whatever, that maybe we will get back together sometime when I've made it. Because I feel like I first want to make it before I even think of like getting into something serious again, unless it's beneficial to me, like unless it's gonna boost me to get me there closer. Like you said, like if you have someone that you have an understanding with that can motivate you and support you, actually support you. She never used to come to any of my gigs because she couldn't because of her parents were so strict. You know what I mean? So she couldn't even be there to support me in that way because the parents were like, nah, I must be at home at 11 o'clock and all this stuff and all this stuff. Shit. And you know, with hip hop gigs, you know, that's when this thing only started warming. And now, because it's COVID, because now 11 o'clock is like, that's when the thing is now.
That's the new norm.
That's the new norm. But back then, she could never come to any of my gigs. Nothing like that. So
how old was she, by the way?
She's now 22 currently, but when I met her, she was 19. Yeah. When I met her, she was 19. So she was fairly young. Like, she was fairly young when I met, very young, actually, when I met her. Like, I'm 27 in December, and she's like 22 now, so I think I was like 4 years.
Close to 5 years older.
Yeah, close to 5 years older. I think she's turning 23. Damn. She should be turning 23.
You know, no, my mochina, it's not a thing of like, I don't blame her parents, man. I blame her, man. It's like, that's how she thinks, man. It's not the parents' fault. It's her fault because my mochina are not 21. Right, and it's the thing. I also met her when I was 19, when she was 19, and I'm like 28. Yeah, do you understand? And she supports me like that. Yeah, what the man over. But you get what I'm saying, and she supports me through whatever I do.
Yeah, it is also you can't only blame the parents and things like that. Even though, like, I think a lot, like there was a lot of emotional intelligence also that I think that she didn't have, man. That she didn't have, that I needed also. So besides the parents and all that other stuff, like obviously how she was raised and things, like she's very timid, like we couldn't communicate properly, like we have now argument now. Yeah, I'm really giving it out here.
This is your therapy session.
The Babbling Heads, but yeah. say we will have an argument.
Yeah.
There will never be like a proper conversation to discuss like why that happened. It will never happen again. Like discuss, like understand what will happen.
Yeah.
It will just be a thing of I'm the only one talking here trying to solve this issue. Cop is net 80 fan state while we're driving or whatever, just looking there, shutting me completely out, and then maybe 20-30 minutes later, I'm over it now. Okay, we kiss and make up, and then that thing is still there. The problem is still lingering there, but we just decided to forget about it.
That speaks to a lot of emotional immaturity.
Yeah.
As you get older, that stuff changes. Like you sort of, and you have to stick and deal around with it when you're like married, like some of us over here. You sort of have to grind through that tough times, and you have to be present in that moment of like, hey, I'm not happy here. You have to both work on it like together. Otherwise, there's no. That's why I was saying.
Answer. That's why I was saying earlier on that those things could have been worked on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the thing about like, we're gonna have to communicate. That could have been worked on.
Yeah.
But the thing about me, like death to self, throughout the relationship, loving her more than I loved myself, like that was just the whole thing. Like I believe, like people always say, no, that's my other half or whatever in a relationship. I believe you must be two olds coming together. Don't come as a half and a half and then make a whole. Be two olds. Know yourself, love yourself, both love each other, come together. And I think in my previous relationship, I was more like, I don't know, empty almost. I was half. I started off as half and then just started going
diminished there.
Dante, I will leave you with this. A wise man once said, no, you don't have to be in a relationship to be in a relationship.
Yes.
Think about that one.
That's facts.
That's facts, because like for me, if you're not gonna satisfy me, not sexually, but mentally, man.
Obviously
if you're
sexually also.
That's important.
Interesting.
Like, kijk, man, it's messed up how much control a woman has over your life, man, and how you feel, and because that's this saying now.
What's up with this female bashing coming on?
No. You tried to score,
Just
but
because
I
we've
points.
been honest here now. Nobody's bashing females.
I love my wife. Or love to her. You know, even though I'm blocked. No, but all love to her if she do see it somehow, which she's probably going to see. But all love to her, I don't mean any bashing. I'm just telling my truth.
I just wanted to say right now, no? Je wil net gesê het. Will Smith het gesê dat Will Smith
Wrong
said.
guy to quote, dude.
Will Smith, I know, entanglement. Will Smith said, it's unfair for you to expect someone else to make you happy when you can't make yourself happy. That
I told my wife that in the 90s already voor Will Smith gesê, the wala kas aan doen. Toen hij zei, the fuck.
How long you and your wife together?
Mr. Fingaz.
1997 we started going out, so it's what?
wasn't your 16 year
more than
anniversary now
20
the other day?
years. More than 20
Ja, man,
years.
dat is gewoon gemeten, man.
But you was high school lovers, aren't you?
Yeah.
So there's
married-
1997, there's more than 20 years, bro.
24
yeah,
years?
We married 16
24 years.
24 years, yeah?
Married
24.
16 years. Last
3
Friday
years.
was 16 years.
Okay.
It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime.
So what we talking about? He got this black belt in what we talking. He's just sitting there watching us like, you know, fuck all.
Call me master. Kijk, speel een video van
Freud.
Ja, en dan...
With him.
Okay, so let's check out the video out. Oh yeah.
Psychoanalysis like Sigmund Freud. Watch how you behave when you feel that void, bro. Cut out that
Nice,
noise. Make sure that you're thinking before you make a choice, bro. Pots and pans, what's
You
cooking?
edited this yourself, eh?
Good looking. The future brighter than flashes, then goes through memories. Take a shot at what I picture, that's photo shooting. Decided to take my time before dropping music. No more allies, the single life, I'm used to it. Will I love again or where am I immune to it? Probably not, I still got love to give like baby Cupid. But right now I'm for the streets and I be acting ruthless. Sliding goodness, then after that giving them the blue tick. I reached the low, not giving a damn, had to step back the movement. I felt bad, asked myself like what the hell you doing? The homie showed you love and you go after his women? Damn, right enough you didn't actually do shit. But what you do, you got her to send you a nude pics. After the fact you sit and ask yourself, when you had a girl and homies try to holler, you got mad as fuck. Funny how shit changed. Now you that nigga. Are you that nigga? If so, then bro, you gotta get your shit together.
Dude,
I
it's
don't know
dope,
you
dude.
like this. You out of character. You acting different.
Psychoanalysis like Sigmund Freud. Watch how you behave when you feel that void, bro. Cut out that noise. Make sure that you're thinking before you make a choice, bro.
I'm sitting here thinking, what the hell, they gotta look good, but upstairs a few screws missing.
Trying to trick me into simping.
Bitch, please, you got a better chance trying to get me into pimping. You try to play games, you thinking that you winning, but your game's got holes in it. I see right through it. You attack my ego, I see what you doing, but baby girl, I never ever needed your approval.
Psychoanalysis like Sigmund Freud. Watch how you behave when you feel that void, bro. Cut out that noise. Make sure that you're thinking before you make a choice, bro.
Psychoanalysis like Sigmund Freud. Watch how you behave when you feel that void, bro. Cut out that noise. Make sure that you're thinking before you make a choice, bro.
Dude, is that what mushrooms gebruiken? Die heb ik niet. Nee, de laatste part is fucking mushrooms, bro.
Een trip, ne?
Dat is een trip, ja. Nou, dat is dope.
Ja, maar je moet de eerste search, man.
Oh, nou, take your time.
Ik kan, ja, dat
That video is not on YouTube though.
Oh, it's not on YouTube.
Nah, it's not on YouTube. That's on Facebook or something like that. I must still re-upload it.
Okay, nou, dat is fijn.
Okay, then it's fine, yeah.
Ja, je kan het ook redden.
But
Oh, we
dope,
gonna...
yeah, so
Dat is een dope video, dude.
Thank
That's
fucking lyrics,
fuck me,
dude.
bro.
Thank you,
I like what you said, me, bro. Like, are you that nigga?
Yeah.
Are you that nigga?
Yeah, that's me questioning myself after like what I said there in that song is like, it was a fellow rapper. I'm not gonna mention his name or whatever, but he showed love. But like I said, when I became single, I went through the master phase where okay, I saw her, moved on, but I definitely moved on, but not in a sense of like getting in a relationship with another person. I was like exploring, you know, single nigga phasing, you know, with girls and things like that. And one of the guys, he did show me love, but I didn't know it was his girlfriend at first. You know, I didn't know it was his girlfriend. So me and this girl, we were talking, and afterwards I found out, no, this is this homie's girlfriend, and she sent me nudes and everything like that, you know. So afterwards I felt bad, like, yo, this bro showed me love and everything, but yeah, I'm chatting to his girlfriend, and she's sending, I didn't do anything, I didn't like go up and meet with her, even though I could, but I didn't go meet up with her, but she sent me nudes and all of this stuff, and
Did you send your nudes?
yeah,
What's the number?
and like yeah, it was something like I said in the song. I had to like evaluate my life and stuff like that, because I remember when I was in a relationship and I saw niggas always trying to get at my girl, and I felt junk also. I was always like also a bit pissed or whatever. So I knew how he felt when I did that to him. And especially with someone that showed me love, like he didn't do anything bad to me. You know, I was so messed up. I was in my single nigga phase that I was just like, I was haunt mode. I was in savage mode. I was just like, I don't care. I'm just out here in the streets. You know, I'm just out here. I was for the streets. So I didn't like really care at that time. But I stopped myself before it even got to anything further. And that's the inspiration behind that.
I respect what I
Check it.
I don't get you to tell us about the nudes though.
just before we sign off, when can we be expecting the album to be dropped?
The album, I'm thinking, where we now? We almost maybe July. Maybe July. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, mensen, look out for that. And yeah, from us at the Babbling Heads, we just like to thank you, Dante, for
thanks a lot
for
gracing us with your presence.
Man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. This is also therapy for me,
Oh,
you know, because like I gave all the details out here, you know. So
Check
that was nice.
it shows the type of person you are, man. Like you wear your heart on your sleeve. You're a passionate guy, and it shows in your music. That's your art. That's who you are, like.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Anyway, DJ Fingaz.
JoeZone.
Charlie X2C.
The base 187.
Away en ons is uit.
The Babbling